All right. Boom. All right. Welcome back to Full Saints Podcast, episode
5.
5. Can't believe it's already been 5.
First one in 2025 too.
Oh yeah, first one in 2025. We're sitting down with President Hearn, Saints legend. 50, almost 50 years under your belt.
Over 50.
Over 50 of Catholic education.
Right. SoCal legend.
SoCal legend. Yeah. We kind of so before Saints, you had quite a stretch of schools before Saints, like a handful you were at.
Oh yeah.
So it kind of started out. Where did you say you started out teaching Catholic education?
I actually started when I was in college at Loyola Marymount at Daniel Murphy High School,
There we go.
which was formerly known as St. John Vianney. Daniel Murphy gave them $5 million, and the name was changed to
Okay.
Daniel Murphy High School. So it doesn't sound like a Catholic school,
No.
but it was a Dominican school.
Okay.
And the only reason that happened was I had a fraternity brother whose uncle was the priest in charge of the school, and they needed a history teacher, and that's what I studied, economics and history and
Oh, I did
political
not know
science.
that.
And so I was all about it, and I jumped right in.
Huh. And then so at Daniel Murphy, then
And that's in Los Angeles.
yeah. Okay. And then how long were you there?
I was there, my senior year, I coached, and then I taught there 1 year,
Okay.
my first year out of college.
And then from there you went on to
Loyola High School.
Loyola. I've heard a lot of
which
Loyola
is
stories.
it's down the street, and it's a large all boys Jesuit school. And what is probably not well known is I'm a convert. I converted to the Catholic faith my junior year at Loyola Marymount,
Oh, I did not know that.
and the priest that was kind of instrumental in that, there were actually three. The three priests, I think they just conspired against me.
Yeah,
I had no chance. They when you graduate, what are you doing? Oh, we have a job for you. Okay, I'll do that. Yeah.
I've heard some, it's funny, like some of my friends from like before this went to Warren Walker, like private school but complete like non like independent, like not Catholic or anything.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of my friends there like weren't Catholic at all, but after coming to Saints, like they've really considered like like some of them like are considering getting baptized just because like the environment that like you're in. Like where you went to St.
I went
Pat's.
to St. Pat's. I've not been baptized. I mean, I've been in Catholic education my whole life, right? I mean, I've learned a lot. I'm still not baptized. I mean, I would like to be
But maybe
eventually,
someday,
like, exactly.
right? Yeah, I was baptized as a Protestant. I was a strong Protestant. But when I started taking the theology classes, I started hanging out with these priests that I thought were pretty funky at the beginning. Like, who are these guys? And some of them became like my very best friends. Yeah. Gordon Bennett, to this day, he became a bishop. He's now up at Los Gatos, California. I would consider him one of my best friends.
Yeah.
He was a scholastic. One day, I was going surfing, and it was about 5 o'clock in the morning. I grabbed my board. I was putting it in my van. I was going to go down and surf local beach in Playa, and I saw these three guys were walking into it was like fog behind us.
It was like a silhouette.
And they're like walking towards me, and it looked
Emerging
like,
out of the
I'm
fog.
going, is this like the 9th century, or like it just looks so different, medieval. And so that's where I met Gordon.
Okay.
And then he kind of took me under his wing, kind of showed me the Catholic ropes.
All right.
And he was studying, to be a priest and all that. So, and then he was my principal at one point at Loyola High School.
Yeah.
And I got even closer to him because of that.
I heard some crazy stories at Loyola that there was a specific rule because Loyola, I heard they had a very successful football team. And
We won. I was the head sophomore coach the year in 1975, in which we won the national championship.
yeah,
There you go,
yeah, their JV team. So I heard a story that Loyola has a rule that for the football teams you can't play varsity unless you're a junior or a senior. That sophomore and freshmen aren't allowed to be on the team, and like because of that, then they would like grow so strong, like because they've been with their boys their whole time. There's no egos of like I'm a sophomore, I'm leaving my sophomore buddies behind, I'm gonna go play varsity, like get a few like reps up there or whatever. There's no ego, and like I feel like that because then that later led. What was he saying? What was
It was like
9 years like
Exactly.
undefeated or something?
Yeah.
the sophomore football team, there was one year I took off. And it was when I became the assistant principal for academics, Mr. Heck's job. And I was a little nervous about it. I thought, I don't know if I can do this and still coach football. So I stayed as strength coordinator, did that job, the assistant principal's job, but I didn't coach football.
Okay.
And I watched the sophomores play that year. I've been a varsity coach for 10 years. So as I'm watching, I realized that there were some things that I could offer them from the varsity perspective that would improve them. Okay. So John Kasnick was the coach and of the head coach, and so I approached him, and I was a defensive coach, so he was an offensive coach, so it was a nice pairing, and we kind of made a decision that I would coach with him. The head coach, Steve Grady, agreed, and then we went on our 5 years together. We were 44-0-1.
Wow.
And then Rick Pedrarius took over. One of the guys we actually coached, and he went another 5 or 6 years without losing.
There you go.
So it was one of these things, though. It was really what was powerful is, so first day of football, right?
Yeah.
And the sophomores are out and they're stretching. Guess who was there with them when they're stretching? The varsity.
Yeah, the varsity guys. Yeah.
And they're telling those guys, you don't lose.
Man.
You don't lose.
Well, because those are the guys that have been holding the whole record.
You
but
win. You go out and you win, and you never lose. So they would actually say this. Like I remember distinctly, Dennis Clordy, another little, Farmer John, if you've ever been to a Dodger game, Farmer John was the big sponsor. The Dodger dog was famous with the actual, the dog would hang
sausage,
outside the longer than the bun. Do you remember that?
Yeah,
Ever see that?
Farmer's on
Well, that was Farmer
sausages,
John.
yeah.
Dennis Clordy's great-grandfather, Francis
Oh, he
Clordy, was the founder of Farmer
my
John.
God.
Yeah. So Dennis is his grandson. He's playing football. He's playing corner. We just coughed up the ball on a fumble, and we're playing somebody that we needed to win, obviously, because we had the streak. And he runs out, and he gets about a third of the way out on the field. He turns around and he goes, "Don't worry, Coach. The streak will live." And we went on, of course, and won the game. And I enjoyed coaching varsity football, but I've never had more fun in my life than coaching sophomore football because sophomores actually believe you.
Oh, yeah.
Juniors stop believing everything. They stop, they question, they start questioning things. But sophomores are true believers. Like you can say something to them and they're like, yeah, of course.
Well, because sophomore year, you're kind of trying to figure out like your vibe. Like when you're a freshman, all you want to do is I just want to look cool. I want to I want to go out to parties. Like I want to fit in and stuff. And sophomore, you're kind of realize that's when you kind of start like getting going, like figuring out like what you kind of want to do. Junior year, like you put some time into that, kind of ditch a few other people's like opinions and stuff. So yeah, I guess that makes sense. Like they really want to believe. So if someone was passionate about football,
yeah, and so you can tell a story at halftime when you're down, like the craziest story you've ever heard in your life, and they'll believe every word of it. And they'll come out of the locker room pulling their hair out. They're on fire.
So then post Loyola, where'd you go after that?
So then the same guy that recruited me to be a Catholic came into my office one day when I'm assistant principal for academics and said, "Hey, Ed, I talked to some guys in Bakersfield and I told them you'd be a good fit to be their president. I think you'll do some good up there." And it's Bakersfield, and I'm thinking, what? Like, my wife's going to go for this? Like, we have 2 kids, 1 on the way? Like, I don't know. It just seems like kind of crazy.
It's complete different, yeah.
So, but after 5 minutes, I said, I'll go to Bakersfield.
It's like you got traded.
I got traded. Yeah, I was traded. And it was the hardest thing I've ever done in my life. Honestly,
well, yeah, I'm sure. Yeah.
7 days a week, we were $2.5 million in debt. The bishop was threatening to close the school down at any moment. We had to be in the black by the 31st of December. My first year, we were in the black by $6,000. It's when I was in full panic. It's when I started raising.
Oh, yeah, we talked. Yeah.
When I started raising money because I didn't think we could stay open. Mm-hmm. And I was frantically, at night, I would just call 10 people randomly.
Yeah.
Catholic people in Bakersfield, and we raised like over $100,000, and it doesn't seem like a lot,
But
it was enough to get us $6,000 in the black. And I look back at that and I'm going, frantically, we were doing everything we could, and we just got over.
I'm sure, like, to pay, like, when all that paid off, like, literally paid off, but when all that paid off, you were just like, oh, because I remember you told us a story of, like, you're in the red, you need to get in the black, and you called, like, what was it? You called like 50 people, and then you got like $1,000. And it was like,
that story actually is my 13th. It's unlucky,
Okay.
but it was my lucky call. I'd gotten a 0 on my first 12 calls.
yeah,
The 13th call was Bill Lazzarini. Bill Lazzarini, I'll never forget his name because he gave me $5,000. He
you go.
listened to my pitch and he goes, I'll pledge you $5,000. Well, not pledge, I'll write you a check for $5,000. And then I thought, if I make 13 calls, I'll get $5,000.
yeah.
Just keep calling. Don't let the negativity get you down. Just make the next call. They say no, dial another number.
Well,
Let's go.
I remember the other day when we were cold calling, like the other day, it was like
into it.
I called like 40 people. We're getting AOL Instant Messenger and like old Cox lines. People's like they're like from when they're in high school. It's like their mom's like old like landline, and then like eventually it came to it, and we started getting donations.
I think you guys raised over $20,000.
I remember that. It was
It
crazy.
was great.
was
I
so
was
fun.
so impressed by, it's that tenacity, right, in life. It is playing the long game,
yeah.
never playing the short game. Those are huge lessons that I wasn't taught those things, but I learned those things through my experiences.
Picked him up.
Well, because like I've always like heard something where it's like if you're comfortable, you'll never grow. So when you're uncomfortable, that's when you kind of grow. So it seems like you were pretty uncomfortable when you're that like if the school was that much in debt.
So I brought
they
two
called
guys
you
with
in.
me from Loyola, and we would meet every night in the parking lot around 10 o'clock at night, and we would go, how'd your day go? That's our meeting for the day. How'd your day go? What do you need to do tomorrow? How can I help you tomorrow? And we were the
always
three
on
of
the
us,
same page,
always doing that. And we were slowly growing. And we paid our $2.5 million. By the time I left 5 years later, we had moved the school from 450 students to 780 students in those 5 years. We were re-roofing the entire campus. We were building things.
Wow.
I learned so much.
Wow.
Hard work, grit, learn the lessons, don't take shortcuts, and it's all about people.
Yeah, I'm sure.
It's all about people. Make deep friendships.
Okay, that's good to know.
So then after Bakersfield,
Where'd you take
Brophy.
that?
So then I was recruited.
Again, we got
Yeah,
traded.
I was
transfer
recruited.
portal.
Yeah, so the good news of Bakersfield somehow got out there, and I got a call from 3 different high schools.
Wow.
An all-girls school, Marymount High School, and right behind UCLA. A co-ed school, Chaminade in West Hills in San Fernando Valley, and Brophy.
Okay.
The other 2 jobs were presidents. The job at Brophy was principal,
Oh,
and I was a president principal at Garces, and I always felt like I was compromised a little bit, and I still had some things left to do as being a principal.
yeah.
So that's what I did.
Take the job at Brophy, Arizona.
I took the job at Brophy and worked with the Jesuits for 10 years as principal there. And that was a interesting time being in a different state.
So
Yeah.
Arizona is
Yeah.
different than California,
was that your first? That was your first all boys school?
other than
Other
Loyola.
than Loyola, yeah.
And Daniel Murphy was also
Wait, so-
all boys.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So the only co-ed school I have
Was-
ever been in my life is Garces for 5
Bakersfield.
years.
Okay.
So almost all boys.
I heard Brophy was pretty cool time.
yeah,
We won the first football state championship in the history of the school, large school division. And in the same year, we'd never won baseball. We won that, and I was told at one point that there was no hope to ever win baseball. And that was just enough to fire me up to go, well, we're going to win baseball now. Because, we're just going to do that. So I went on an all
made the call right then and
where
there.
we're going. Yeah, I'm sitting there listening to this alum tell me we can't beat Horizon High School. And we play my last year, my last month at that school, we play Horizon High School. It's 2 out of 3. We're in the second game, so we won the first, and we walked them off.
Wow.
Wow.
10 runs. We beat him by 10 runs. The guy was sitting right down the third baseline, and I just gave him a nice, dirty look, and then gave him a thumbs up, and walked out of there.
Wow.
It's the way
And
to
so,
leave your
what
mark.
what did you learn at Brophy that kind of helped you out here at Saints? Because you were at Brophy for
10 years.
10 years. Okay. Wow. All boys, and you were kind of like the Mr. O'Byrne here, right?
No, I was principal.
So it's
But-
the Mr. Horn.
I was like Mr. Hearn.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. There was a Jesuit president, Father Reese, and then me. And so we were the partners. And it was a large school. It was about 1,300 boys.
Wow.
Best school in Arizona for sure.
Yeah.
Not a doubt. Not a doubt. I mean, people would die to get their kids in there.
Brophy seems a lot like Saints.
It is.
Yeah.
It is. We're better though. And we're better because the atmosphere is more personal,
Yeah.
and it's a
Okay, a little bit
and it's a
smaller, yeah.
better all around school. I think because it's personal, we're able to treat everybody in a personal way, which I love. So I think community's stronger
Yeah.
in a place like
That's
this. Yeah. And I also think the Augustinians, their ethos, community, truth, and love, build that cocoon around us a little bit better than maybe the Jesuits
Yeah. Okay.
would.
And so then, how did you wind up here after 10 years of Brophy? You wind up at Saints. I heard a crazy story that you had another job opportunity to
I did.
to go to Cathedral.
I did.
Yeah.
I did. And but how I got here actually is the Holy Spirit, which has been actively in my life my entire life. I always look. It's hard for me sometimes to see God like right in front of me, but I always see God just behind me because
Oh yeah.
I'll go
that's
like,
a good, I had never thought about it that way.
how
You see
did
God,
that
like,
just
from- yeah.
how did that just happen? Oh, thanks, man. Like, nice partnership. I really appreciate that because there's so many things that you can't do by yourself,
Yeah.
and you do with others, but then there's the God factor too, and I've always felt that God has helped, inspired me, and motivated me to the next
Yeah.
place. So I'm at a friend's wedding in Long Beach. Carlos Leon, he's my best friend, and he gets married finally. He's like in his 40s.
Oh my God.
Yeah, he's ridiculous. Confirmed bachelor, all this stuff, and Wendy conquered him.
Yeah.
He had no chance. So I'm at the wedding reception,
Okay.
and I go to my table
The sun burnt.
with my wife Diana, and right next to me is this tall guy and his wife. And I said, "Hi, I'm Ed Hearn, principal at Brophy College Prep." And he goes, "Hi, I'm Jim Hearn. I'm the new principal.
Oh, here we go.
I'm the new principal."
St. Augustine.
Did you just get chills?
Yeah.
Just got chills, right?
How does that even happen? That just
Yeah.
matches up like that.
It's unbelievable. So we're sitting there, and he goes, "Well, I'm the new principal at St. Augustine High School." I say, "Where's that?"
Oh, you didn't even know.
I didn't even know. No, I didn't even know. I was ignorant. So he explained where it was, and I had a business card. I gave it to him. I said, "If you ever have a problem, give him a call. You're a new guy. I'm an old guy."
Yeah.
He calls me within a month.
Wow.
Yeah, and he has a problem, and we talk it through, and then another phone call, I don't know, every once in a while, and we just kind of kept that going, and so I was helping him along. And then one day he called me and he said, "Hey, we don't have a president, and I was thinking you would like be perfect as president of Saints, and would you come and interview?" And I'd been 10 years. I was in my 10th year, and I was thinking, wow, this might be a good
the
moment.
next place,
I was
yeah.
56. If I don't go, I'll probably retire here. Do I want one more exciting little adventure?
New experience.
And this is it.
I would love to have an adventure with, dude. Being at a wedding reception with Mr. Horn sounds like the best day of my life.
Exactly. Not
Yeah.
even know.
Who you're sitting next to, and then business parts.
Yeah, and here we are.
Yeah.
So then I interviewed for the job. He really didn't play a role in the interview or anything like that,
Okay,
but he got me here, and then the next day I interviewed at Cathedral.
Okay, yeah. So you had to
And
weigh-
I was
weigh 'em out.
awarded both jobs,
Okay.
and I didn't. Cathedral was right out of the
so
gate.
what-
It's absolutely
that's
gorgeous.
hard, 'cause
It was gorgeous.
Brand new built school, or they were building the school.
It was done. It
Everything's
was
new.
done.
Okay,
It
yeah.
was beautiful.
okay.
Everything's new.
They gave
insane
Sean
buildings.
Doyle, the football coach,
Yeah.
gave me the tour,
Okay.
and I was like, "Wow, this is like the most beautiful place I think I've ever seen." And I had already interviewed here, of course, and it didn't look like
It did not look like this.
It didn't look like this.
No.
But I think the most fun, my motivation is building, whatever.
Yeah. You grew with the.
Yeah, building a school, rebuilding a house, building furniture, building something,
IKEA
creating
sets.
something. Yeah, it just like makes me happy, right?
Legos.
So I got my wife to fly over here. I convinced her to fly over here, and we went to Cathedral in the morning.
Oh, she probably
One
loved
morning.
Cathedral.
Actually, this is what she said.
Oh.
So at 7:00 in the morning, 7:15 or whatever, we're in the parking lot, and I said, okay, there's a bunch of girls over there that just came in. Why don't you go talk to them and see what they say about their school?
Oh, hold on. Here we go. Okay.
So the girls go, they don't know who she is, but they're talking to her, right? And they're saying stuff like, well, I came here because, well, my friends came here. And my wife would say, well, who's your favorite teacher? I don't know. No one special. It was all about their friends, right?
Yeah,
And so she came back and she goes, well, I don't know. Let's go see Saints. I have no idea. So it was break. We drove in Vasey Patio.
Yeah.
And
literally drove
I
in.
parked. I just parked and stayed in the car. There was a bunch of guys in Vasey Patio. She walks right into a group of them. She's there maybe 3 minutes, turns around, walks out, gets in the car. I go, was that all right? She goes, you know what to do. This is your perfect school. Those guys were awesome. They talked about their, right away, 2 or 3 teachers, coaches. You could tell they loved each other.
Yeah.
It just seemed right. And she goes, and look what you get to do. You get to rebuild
You
the
get to build
school.
the school, yeah.
And you know how to do it.
Yeah. And see, you.
And you'll have fun. You'll have a blast. And I am.
And you're still having a blast today.
I am.
Yeah, it seems like you had advice. Well, you wrote the book.
I wrote the
Saints
book.
Out. Let's get this on camera.
Show
Should we advertise it? And
It's all right. It was my COVID therapy.
project?
My COVID therapy was that book.
so this is 100 Years of Saints.
Yeah. So we were when COVID hit in 2020, right? We were 2 years away from our 100th anniversary, and I was sitting home one day. So I get up at 4 in the morning, and normally I'll say some prayers. I'll go for a walk, maybe say some prayers, read the paper, maybe have a cup of coffee, things like that. This one morning I was just kind of in this. I wasn't thinking about anything really. And I always thought, wouldn't it be nice on 100 years to capture as much of the history of the school as possible? Because I was worried like it would dissolve into thin air. Like people would live and die and, and
nothing
then
would
their
be
stories would go with
recorded.
them and they would be gone. And so I started writing essays, and I got to 27 essays. And they're about 750 words to 1,500 words, something like that. And anyway, so I was doing that, and I got to a point where I thought, and it was therapy. But I had the kind of the outline of the history.
Okay, so that's what started.
And I needed stories, of course, the other stories. And in there, you'll see stories about different saintsmen and stuff like that that are kind of interest type. I think they're interesting. And so I came here, and Miss Callery is, I said, I have all these, I showed her all these essays. I don't really know what to do with them. She goes, well, I call Tom Schuss, our editor for Saint Scene, and see what he says, because he knows that stuff. So I called him, and he recommended Nanette Weiser. But Nanette lived in Florida. So it turns out I sent her all my stuff, and she called me back after the week. She got them on a Friday, called me back, I think Tuesday or Wednesday next week, and said, Ed, there's a book here. You've got a book.
You got to write a book.
This is a book. We need to fill it in a little bit.
Yeah.
But I'd love to work with you on the book. So it kind of went from there, and I'm really glad I did it. We ordered 750 copies.
Nice.
And the way I sold it was, if you made a contribution to our endowment fund of $250, you'd get a book.
Nice. Wow. So this is 100 Years of Saints, everything from pretty much then to whatever, 1922.
1922.
And a
2022.
lot, yeah.
1922 to 2022.
And so like a lot's changed. Like you said, you came in here, it was just like...
Oh yeah, like
everything's changed.
we captured a lot of the names and stuff.
Yeah.
Got some stories that I didn't know that were... Auxiliary priests would tell me some of these really cool stories. Like we were going to be shut down in 1938, right at the end of the Depression, because, well, the school is just in so much debt, and in our province was way back in Philadelphia, at Villanova College, and the provincial was on his way out to close the school down, but he decided to stop at St. Rita's in Chicago. He had a friend there, and they got to talking, and the principal there convinced him not to do that he had a guy in mind, that he should give this guy a chance. And so he decided to do that. And it was an amazing concept that this priest had. He said, we just need to charge tuition and collect it, and we can exist instead of just letting people come free.
Yeah.
And so
probably helped a little bit.
That's what they did. And really the school has kind of made its way slowly but surely through its history.
So if this is 100 Years of Saints, say another book were to be written in, like, say 50 years, 100 years is a little far to look in the future. We've seen like the campus renovations, like innovations in so many things, intercession, everything. What's a handful of things, or maybe just one thing you'd like to see in the next 50 years of Saints? It could be a huge dream, but just what is something you like to see?
I think so I informed an envisioning committee 2 years ago, because we got through, right?
Yeah.
Are we just going to rest on our laurels, or are we going to go forward and be missionaries and continue what's great? We all know it's great. Can we make it bigger and better?
How are we going to make this better?
Bigger and better, more people can enjoy it. So the ideas that I think are powerful ideas for this school are all boys middle school.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I think that is certainly something that came out of the envisioning committee.
Okay.
I think a sports campus, and I would like to see those coupled, the middle school and the sports campus, so that we have a presence there all day long.
Yeah.
Even though some of the sports here would travel to this campus.
We could have courts there, tennis courts.
The whole thing.
Yeah.
The pool, maybe a football
Those
stadium,
be some happy middle
baseball
schoolers,
fields.
dude. All day they get all that crazy stuff.
Right.
Yeah.
So so I've been raising money, and we've been investing money, and it's growing, and we're trying to do the endowment and have a pot of money for opportunity, so that when it happens, we can jump in and take advantage. That's the thing about, if you don't have resources, opportunities happen, and you can't do anything. But if you have the resources,
do something.
you can take advantage. And I think I'm trying to position the school in my last couple of years to be able to take advantage of what I think are going to be countless opportunities out there for this school.
Like, make this as like a time stamp or something. Like, if in the next 50 years, if someone's writing another book, 2025, they were talking about the middle school, and 10 years later, it was middle school sports campuses. We met it.
Right. And it met with a lot of, it's kind of a controversial thing, because you have all these middle schools and all these Catholic schools all over the place, and what happens to them, and I get all that, but what it gives us is, think about English, for instance. What if you had a consistent program from 6th grade all the way to your senior year, where it's totally builds on the year before, all the way through? The end product has got to be better.
Well, yeah.
Math.
Malvern Prep is, they have a middle school.
There you go. There you go. And there's a reason for that. They're in control of the curriculum. Yeah. So those would be the things, and yeah, I would say you stay with the all boys concept because it's bold, it works.
It works.
Everyone seems to be super happy, and why would you go and do anything else?
Exactly.
Yeah.
I've been watching this for 50 years, and it's a winner. I'm watching guys that are in their 50s and 60s just still thriving in their professional lives, from Loyola, from Brophy, I mean, and here.
Yeah. Well, thank you for all the innovations and everything you've done.
Thank you.
Thanks for coming on today. I mean, I wish we could talk longer, but
No, honestly.
Yeah, we've only scratched the surface. Yeah, there's a lot more to be told.
Yeah, thank you so much for coming on the podcast.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Devin.
All right, episode 5. That's a wrap.
5. Thank y'all.
Jameson, how was that time? I know we definitely went over.
That was the.
So you